You keep me in the right state of mind, quality time. When in the look for words, your love and feed me a line. Never felt like this, never thought I could. When I melt between your legs, it feels so damn good. Your attitude is milly. When we play fight, you're mad silly. You make my nature rise by the way you lick a Philly. Who needs the ad master when they got you for me? With all the sex inside, you keep a brother in shape. You was a diamond in the rough, now you the one I count on in the clutch situation. You come running, no hesitation. It's like we got the same destination. Laying up butt naked on permanent vacation. With my eyes closed, you's the one I chose. Through the bullshit, you keep the soft scent. You keep me in the right state of mind, quality time. When in the loss for words, your love and feed me a line. Never felt like this.
Good
You got me on
evening. You are now tuned in. I am your host, Miss TML. We are here tonight, locked in with the legendary Pop Da Brown Hornet. I just want to say that you are incredible. Your story is incredible. And I think that you just have a gift and you have so much to share. And I'm here for it.
No, I appreciate it. Listen, it's Pop Da Brown Hornet from out of Stapleton, Staten Island at 10304. Bumble fire! So before we even get it started, that's my intro. And thanks for having me on your show. Thanks for just being tuned in with the body of work. I see you've been, sharing and researching and doing your homework. It is definitely a unique story. And it does stretch a long time. Sometimes people feel like they're unappreciated, go unrecognized and things of that nature. And sometimes, other people have to go the longer route. They say life is a marathon, it's not a race. So I've been blessed. I've been blessed just to be able to run the marathon and not give up in the race.
That's right. And I respect that about you. I think that after listening to, just some of your interviews and just the way that you've been able to resurrect yourself and come back as a knowledgeable, humble, just understanding person, because I've been in situations, I come from Boston, which I think is still an untapped market when it comes to hip hop and artists that are being, discovered from Boston or the New England area. So this is why your story holds so dear to me, because I feel like, there was a time when Wu-Tang, it basically inspired so many hoods and so many groups to basically unite and become, this force to be reckoned with within their, city, within their town, within their zip code. And it brought some unity to the hood. It brought some groups together that, guys that would never worked together in Boston that started working together because they seen the influence of Wu-Tang. They seen all these different members from different areas, coming together and creating, a movement. And I think that was one of the biggest inspirations in hip hop when it came to, just black on black unity and things like that. I think Wu-Tang was a part of that influence with artists being able to work with artists from different areas. So that was definitely something that I took from that. And I believe that, there's sometimes when we look at, certain groups where members are not recognized, that were there from the beginning, and you're one of the people that happened to. And I think that your story is so unique, and you've been able to be humble about it. And, just tell your side of the story. And like you say, if it wasn't true, then there would be all this backlash. And there's never backlash from what I see in the media about you telling your story and telling your side of how Wu-Tang came about and how, and going back thinking, I started thinking about it. There were times where people used to say it started in Stapleton, and a lot of these dudes are not from Stapleton, so this is where the rumors were always there, you know what I mean? But the actual knowledge and the history, I think Shaheem brought some of that to light too, in his later years and things like that. But it was just you only heard about it because somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody from that area. You know what I mean? It wasn't as upfront or publicized as much. So, I mean, being that
Right.
coming from that, that for me tells me that you're a chameleon. You're, the underdog, that sometimes those people are overlooked and overshadowed by the budgets, by the media, by, the influences of whatever label are behind artists and things like that. And that's important to bring to front, that these things happen to people. And just listening to you and hearing your level of lyrics, I'm like, there's no way that he shouldn't have made it. There's no way that he shouldn't be, being recognized on big stages and things like that. And whereas you have 20 plus years in the game.
Yes, exactly. A very, very observant, very knowledgeable, very articulate about history. Like I said, that invaded the world. So, and like, everything has its start. So, like I said, I can't sit here and take anything away from the W. They're
Oh,
legendary cult. They have a cult following. They did influence, the world. Different people unite. That's what hip hop does anyway. You
that's
unite.
right.
And and probably like I said, they influence individuals to think that they can team up and come together, and that's what makes Wu Tang unique, because you're rarely going to get so many different individuals to team up to accomplish a task. Just when you think about it around the board, it doesn't make sense financially. It doesn't make sense individually. There's a lot of egos. So for
Mhm.
them to make it happen and for them to be influential, that's like I said, there's nothing you could take away from that. But there's a lot of dynamics that play a part in between that as well. So,
That's right.
um,
That's right.
when you say it's a movement, before the clan was put together, the movement existed. And then when the clan was put together, there was a lot of Staten Island love that helped, you know, uh, create an atmosphere that the world brought into. If you was back then and you seen how, Staten Island at one time was, it wasn't known for the rah-rah, wasn't known for rah-rah hip hop. And that's what
That's right.
Wu-Tang kind of did. It introduced the world that Staten Island had some rah-rah to it. So with
Mhm.
that being said, a lot of the rah-rah in the streets, was the crack era. Everybody was trying to fight to get off the streets, and music was the way out. So
That's
for
right.
Wu-Tang Clan to be the first to leave the pack, you also had people from Manus Harbor, West Brighton, New Brighton, Stapleton, Park Hill, meeting up, driving over, to wherever they was performing, either driving over to Verrazano, taking the ferry boat. We moved as a unit. So even if we were fighting amongst each other, whether it be neighborhood to neighborhood, whatever, when we was going as a unit, as a force representing Staten Island for the W, we clicked together. So that's more of a we united to achieve new goals, because Staten Island as a whole was pushing the first rah-rah group was our first voice, and took them in as family, even though a lot of them weren't, like I said, from Staten Island, Old
Yeah.
Dirty Bastard, so forth, Massive. A lot of those dudes were from Brooklyn, but we still embodied it because it was a movement, because a lot of people thought there was more yet to come behind it. So people are going to be very receptive of a movement when they figure, once they get on, they're going to look at it and they're going,
Right.
so they're going to pull us in, you know what I mean? So as Staten Island showed Wu-Tang Clan a lot of love, but
Mhm.
Wu-Tang Clan didn't show Staten Island that same type of love to keep the ball rolling.
That's right.
27 years later, we're supposed to have more voices representing Staten Island than just the W. And just as influential as the W is to the planet, the Brown Hornet could have been the same. The King
Right.
Just could have been the same. The Now Born Clicks could have been the same. This is not just like, the buck stops there with the talent. No, the talent is
Right.
prevalent on Staten Island. It's just been
Right.
one-sided. A lot of roadblocks have been thrown up. So, like I said, the Brown Hornet, the cream rises to the top. Like I said, I could have been, but I'm right here talking to you right now.
That's right. And I mean, and you stayed the course of, getting your message across. One thing that I got from you is that you're a messenger. You're a person who, and it embodies your name, the Brown Hornet from Fat Albert. That was so clever and so precise on how you came about your name and just how you are able to translate that into your music and to your messages. And the things that you say, I think are important. Black on black crime. I don't know exactly how long ago you made that record, but I know it's been over, over a decade. And I think it
That
just
song that song came out in 1996.
wow, wow. And that's, the times when we needed to hear that the most. Um, those words and the things that you say are still prevalent right now in our society, and how we view each other and how we hurt each other is how the world perceives that we don't care about each other, and our lives don't matter until they matter to each other. And that's what I've always tried to, preach to my brothers and sisters is that, it starts with us, and taking a self-reflection on, the damage that we've inflicted upon ourselves is important. So I mean, that for me was
Well,
like,
we've had assistance. Not to cut your bill, but yeah,
yeah,
we've inflicted a lot on each other. But it's not like we haven't had assistance from the government. When you constantly throw poison in the community, when you constantly red zone, colored people to where you constantly deny them fair opportunity and gain. When you take a lot of those resources away from individuals, even back in the days, there was a certain time when you went to high school, they treat you a criteria, they teach you plumbing, they teach you, electricity, they'll teach you welding, they'll teach you a skill. Those things are removed. Back in the days, I used to go to the PAL, Police Athletic League, and, you go on trips. You go to the movies, you did things like that during the summer. A lot of these programs are gone. A lot of these things are gone. So
that's
these
right.
kids don't have anything to go to but the streets. If they go to the streets, well, we was out in the streets way more. So I do look at the times and I see that, and I can't, I can't look and say that the times are worse. They're more ignorant. I see that with the gang violence and the unnecessary killings, it's like, not that it was smart when we were doing it, but it was drugs and it was money being made. But now it just seems like, it's more of a gang culture that's sweeping through, and it seems like it's a big fad to take one each other. There's no value of life. So that's what's more scary. That's more now prevalent right now. Because even us back in the days on the block, we still wanted to live, but now it just seems like these kids just they want to die. It seems different.
That's right. It's true. And
But
it's no
like I
regard
said,
for life.
but we've had help with saying, look at now, fentanyl, pills, and a lot of these kids, they take drugs younger, and they're impaired, they're not thinking rational, so, and they might be drug babies to begin with. So when you got so much going on, and we have to take heed to those things, because a lot of these kids now, there's so much labels on the with the bipolar or schizophrenic or this, that, and the third. Um, and these kids are growing up with one parent, and sometimes these parents don't know how to deal with dysfunction. They don't know how to deal with themselves sometimes. So dealing with
Right.
another human being, these kids are growing up. Some of them are growing up broken, and society is not one to fix them.
No, you're definitely right. It definitely plays a part um, in how we live and what we choose to, believe in life is important. The values are not there anymore. And I think that, a lot of that comes from the music, and it comes from, I didn't realize that in the 90s
Wow.
and, like Now
Listen, now, like when you
I
said it comes from
realize,
the music, that when you say it comes from the music, that's a big argument with with the younger generation.
right?
They say, "Oh, well, you listen to y'all listen to the gangster rap and all of that." Not everybody listened to gangster rap back.
No,
When you go far back, there was a native tongue movement. There was a positive movement that was ripped out of hip hop. The
that's
soul
right.
of hip hop, the soul of hip hop was snatched away and it became corporate in the 90s, and it was no longer for us, it was for corporate greed, and it was about the dismantling of us. So they had to take away the public enemies, they had to take away the Queen Latifahs, they had to take away the poor righteous teachers, the brand Nubians, the X-Clans, and the Jungle Brothers, and they had to take away those the native,
Powerful.
they had to take that away, and they had to bombard us with gangster crack rap, and you know, fill the jails up for Biden, and police reform, and I mean,
Right.
listen, I could get deep with it, and that's what I do, and I believe that hip hop turning 50 years old, we've done enough partying. We've done enough partying for 50 years old. We done promoted we put
Agenda.
enough yeah, I mean, we done so how much kilos we gonna sell with Jay-Z? You the rock boy, all right, we understand that. You the rock boy. Can't nobody be the rock boy no more. Can't nobody be certain things anymore. They've already,
Ran its
went
course.
beyond the means. They're billionaires off of that. Now we have to build. Now we have to talk about something different. Now we have to get back to the knowledge of things.
Knowledge itself.
Where
Right.
knowledge is self prevalent, we're living in a woke time, so I think it's time to, at the same time, make sure that we put out music that the algorithms is teaching. We putting out music that is not all toxic and demonic. We have to have some frequencies out there that's going to be uplifting, and hip hop. Like I said, once they've ripped the soul out, they've made sure that they've dismantled it. They try to demasculate us. They try to, they put drugs through our music. They got
Right.
it. It's all right. It's all right to wear a tutu in a handbag, and they call that hip hop. Knock it off, man. Get out of it. Stop it.
Right.
You're doing too much.
And
So
and it's
my
crazy
comeback is,
because I seen it manifesting right before my eyes. Like this is where it's like, wow, did I influence some of this? Like coming from the Little Kim and Foxy Brown eras, and we thought that was cool back then. You know what I'm saying? And it only created this domino effect of now Nicki's and Cardi's, and now it's
well,
even
like
worse.
like I
So
like I said, hold on, done by design. Don't ever think not, because as much as and as fast as you say the Foxies and the Little Kims, yes, we had Lauryn Hill as well. And
right,
Lauryn Hill, six Grammys. She killed the game.
right.
That miseducation. She was slaying all of them with knowledge. They did
But
not want that.
but they came
How
from
come they
Lauren.
didn't?
They
How
put
come
her
they
in
didn't
jail.
duplicate? Yeah, of course they can. Of course they can, but they choose not to. If you can repeat a Little Kim and give us a Nicki, or give us a Foxy, or give us a Cardi, or give us a Megan, or give us you can give us another Lauren. We're highly intelligent and sophisticated. Look at yourself. So don't
That's right.
think for one hot second that there's not another Queen Latifah or Lauryn Hill or Rod Digger out there. Don't think for not 1 second. They do this by design. They'll give us a scar face. They'll make us seem like we're loud and arrogant and can't be controlled. They don't want to show the sexy, sophisticated, dark-skinned woman. They want to have an imagery for us to run with. It's done by
And
design.
I love the fact that you did Shootin My Shot with a dark skinned woman as the cover. That spoke values to me
Ooh.
because I'm a firm believer of the Willie Lynch syndrome. I'm a firm believer that they put us against each other. And how you talked about how you were the darker child in your family, and how that I come from a multi-raced family, you know, in regards to color. Like we're all different shades, and that was the one thing that my grandmother, you know, told me about being black, and like just having the uniqueness of we come from all different shades and we're still all one people, you know. And me and my sister, who we're considered twins because we're a year and a day apart, I'm lighter, she's darker, and it's always been a stigma, where she felt that she wasn't the prettier one, or she felt that she wasn't loved as much. And I think that this is something that we need to talk about. We need to have these conversations amongst family members. And, you know, sometimes you don't even realize that that comes from within our own selves of being, you know, hating ourselves and feeling that we have to be lighter. And then you have these women now that are bleaching their skin. And the one thing I used to tell people is like, they'd be like, oh, you're white. Oh, because you're light skinned. And I'm like, listen, like, I didn't choose the color of my skin. Nobody did. If we all came out being exactly the same, how boring would the world be? You know what I mean? Like, we can't choose that. Nobody chooses that, but it's how we embrace it. And how I look at people is colorblind. I can't see, you know, color when it comes to beauty. I think we're all beautiful in our own right, you know, and that for me is how I've always looked at the world. And I just hope one day the world can see it through my eyes. You know what I mean? Is that we got to take everybody for who they are, who they came to the world to be. Like, stop trying to alter yourself. Stop trying to change for society or what society views as beautiful or handsome or, you know, the happening thing right now. Like it just, it's sad to see, you know, that so many people live off of just that notion of image.
Right.
You
Right.
know, like your story about that, like it touched me because I was like, wow, he understands the complex that we have within our own, you know, dynamic of people.
Yeah. You know, once again, inflicted upon us when you deal with just even the regular, regular media and TV or superheroes. You know, that's why it was important for me to be Pop the Brown Hornet, because through TV, and you see a lot of glorification of the Caucasian, or the superheroes are white with special powers and things of that nature. When you go to class in school when you're young, you're taught that slavery and things of that nature. So it's always for us, and that psychologically, that spiritually, all of those things break you down. You look at TV as a colored child and be like, well, I want superheroes like Wonder Woman or Superman. Why don't I see any colored superheroes on there doing any special things or whatever the case may be? So me as a child, and wanting to accept my color, because all looking at TV and the psychological damage that it does, because in a child's mind you want to emulate and be what you see. And so when it's embedded in your head as a child, it took me to get to a certain level to accept my darkness, to accept my color, to understand who I am and knowledge of self. So yeah, that's how the Brown Hornet transformed. Like, nah, I got one for y'all, and I'm never gonna, and I didn't have to switch it up. I think the higher power, once I was my name was always Pop. That was given to me through my mom. She said I looked like my grandfather, which they called him Pops. So as much as my government, Pop was a name that I got from birth. So I just added on the Brown Hornet. So that's how it's Pop the Brown Hornet. Um, but yeah, once I seen the Brown Hornet and I digested him and seen he was a message carrier, and I'm an MC and I have to be a message carrier as well. Like you said, I just connected the dots. I wanted to always be able to talk and be looked up as, and have like I said, at the same time, Brown Hornet was a superhero, and he came with a message, and he came with he won his battles and things of that nature. It was funny and things of that nature, but he was my first superhero, and someone I could relate to and I identify with. So that's what stuck to me.
I love it. I love it. It was very thought out and very, you know, true to who you are and who you've been. musically. And I think that's, and also I want to highlight the fact that you were just honored with an award in your city. So congratulations to you for that. What was that like? I
Thank
mean,
you.
I know, yeah, like, and you performed, and I mean, I tell people all the time, it's like, in regards to getting love from where you're from, it's important. That's, for a whole city, a whole community to be behind you is very important. And you just seem like you embody and get that love.
Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes you want to get it from your peers, and sometimes, we want acceptance from it. But when you grow past that, and when you are met, and when the community recognizes that, like, nothing for nothing, I just don't want to, and shout out to Dana, shout out to Phantom, King Just, and everybody that participated and put the Juneteenth situation together. And I was very grateful and humbled to receive the award, to get acknowledged, and know that, we did have a contribution to hip hop and its 50 years, so the history can't be erased. We're recognized, as documented, and for your city to recognize you and give you kind of plaques and awards with your name on it. You see your government, Rob it,
So,
Pop the Brown Hornet breaks. It's like, yeah, all right. Um, that recognition is important. A lot of people would love to be, in your shoes, just to say, you know what, I took a hobby, and to get recognized for a hobby, for the professionalism. Like I said, you like to get it from your peers, but getting it from your city and your people you grew up with is just, if not more, humbling.
that's right.
Because now people are watching, people are looking. When sometimes you take it for granted, like nobody's paying attention, nobody, woes me and all of that. But nah, always keep your head up. You're always influencing somebody. And with social media, they don't have to press like or nothing, but know that they're watching, they're scrolling, they're seeing, they're observing. Because as soon as you slip, they're quick on that. As soon as you
That's right.
mess up, they're quick to laugh. But when you rising, the non-believers are like, oh, yo, oh, yeah, yeah. But as soon as you fall, they right there to laugh at you. Like, oh, you thought you was getting away. So.
And that's so true. That was so well said. It's so real that people don't necessarily acknowledge you when they see you moving until you make a mistake, and that needs to change. That is important. Why I tell people, give people their flowers while they're here, because they can't smell them when they're gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and it's like, listen, you could be inspiring somebody to keep going, to keep pushing. And I even say that to people, like they'll say to me, "Oh, T, I see you doing your thing, da, 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 but you never like, you never support, you never none of that." So it's like, how do I know? When you see me, like that don't count on this. Like this is the game of algorithm and being in the social media limelight now of advertising and marketing. And you know I
Right.
just want you to share that part of the business, because I think people think that it's always about, oh, how well you can rap. It's not about always how well you can rap. It's about how well you can sell yourself, how well you can package your stuff up and market it to the right people. And how important is that to you? Do you think that's important?
Well, of course, I mean, image is everything. And when a lot of hip hop heads, when they were coming out, you know, sometimes you could just tell who it was by their shadow. You draw their silhouette and you could just tell who it was. So imagery is everything. How you present yourself. Um, I think not so much now. It's kind of different. Hip hop's been through so much. I mean, you had people, you could blow up just wearing a white T-shirt now or something like that. It's all over the place. But I think everything makes a 360. It comes back to that. So you definitely want to stay original. You definitely want to bring something to the game. So reinventing yourself and being artistic as far as rap, or even I got a new clothing line coming out. So even
Yep.
however you do it, I
Step
got the
line.
staff fly going on.
Yeah.
This is the zip code edition. You know, so that's how you reinvent yourself. That's how you stay busy. That's how you stay, relevant. Like you
Right.
said, it's more than just the hip hop. It's more than just that. One door could open up the next to the next. I made Staten fly because, just to help break up the monotony on Staten Island. Everybody is very territorial. Everybody's like, after the W came and a lot of people were maybe supportive of that movement, it's hard for you to get somebody to support your movement. It's like, Ray Ray's rhyming. I'm supporting Ray Ray right now. I ain't got time for you, Brown Hornet. Like, so everybody is representing their own crews right now. But I came with Staten Fly. I got a song, Stapleton Fly. And when I first started making the clothing, when I made the clothing, I came with the Stapleton Fly clothing. But, just contemplating, I said I have to break up the monotony. I wanted to be something that's embraced from the whole Staten Island, from the north to the south to the east to the west. I want everybody to be able to wear it. Every ethnic group. This is like something prideful. When you
That's
go to
right.
Brooklyn, they got I'm from Brooklyn shirts on. You go to Queens, everybody got this. So I want Staten Fly to be one of the staples coming from out of Staten Island, and I
I
want
love
to focus on that
what
for
what made you pick
2023.
the
That'll be
plane?
how.
What made you pick that plane on the shirt? It's a plane,
Oh
right?
well, I picked. Yeah, well, one of my aliases I go by, I'm Pop Da Brown Hornet, aka Pop Da Brown Bomber. So this is like a bomber plane. This is the front of it. This is the front view of a bomber plane. This is,
Okay.
and I always, so one of my slogans, I'm bomber fire. So I'm
Bomba
dropping
fire.
bombs out of my bomber plane, and dropping the bombs and I'm leaving it lit. I'm starting that fire. I got that heat. So
Bombs
yeah,
on the
that's the bomber plane. That's the
bag.
bomber plane for the bomb for the Pop the Brown bomber.
I
And I
love the
just of
branding.
course, and then there's Staten Fly. What's more plane, right? So you got the bomber plane, and I just incorporated it like that.
I like that. I like that. It speaks. The reason why I asked you to explain because I knew you had a reason for how you came up with the concept. So that's a dope concept, and it's something that, like you said, it can be represented from everybody on Staten Island. And that's what I think people need to understand sometimes is that
So that's why
coming
I got. I'm start. I got the zip code. I'm from the 10304, but like I said, I have other. We got other zip codes going on. So
I
I
like
don't
the
know if you.
color.
Well, I can't really show you. I got the blue, right?
Yep.
We got the red. We got the red going on. You
I
know what I
like
mean? We got the we got the Statue of Liberty female
I like
stuff,
that one.
Staten Fly with the Statue of Liberty. That's gonna be a good one right here. We can sell that to the tourists and all of that that's coming through.
Yes.
At the first, yeah. So I'm just being creative, and I'm like I said, it's just a prideful thing, just to make an impact. And is one of my hobbies that I picked up that I think and I enjoy. I'm from Stapleton. We made Stapleton fly. Every neighborhood out here wants to be fly. But Stapleton fly, Staten fly. I'm the flyest of them all. So that's my motto.
I love it. And I love the wardrobe in Stapleton Fly. Let me just say that. That was epic. Like I had to like call some people like, yo, you see what he got on? You see the polo? You see that? Like, yo, it was definitely lit. I was like, yo, you whoever put that together and how you put that together, it brought me back to real authentic hip hop. And just the whole, energy that you give is important. I think that people need to understand it's not just about the lyrics, it's about the energy. And can people feel you through your music, the grittiness, through everything. Even on Shootin Your Shot, it sounded so surreal. You know what I mean? It was just like you were like speaking to someone. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important in just who you are as an artist to, be recognized for, because that's a messenger. That's a person who's painting a picture for you, who's giving you vivid, transcription of their thoughts. And that's important that you know, are recognized for that. So shout out to you for that.
I, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's just about carrying on tradition. That's the hip hop that we was raised off of. So, as a detour to where it's at now, and a lot of the songs that's coming out where it's either drug filled or clapping or shaking your butt or twerking or degrading women and things of that nature. Some of the songs are good, but shooting my shot was just like a masculine male coming at a female the traditional way. It's all right for us to show, and express our emotions for a beautiful woman. It's been a while since I really heard a song like that without, not to say that they don't. They're making songs, but a lot of it is harmonizing and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make a lyrically strong song from from a masculine perspective, and let it be known like we can still express our feelings and emotions for a beautiful woman when we see them walking down the block. I mean, we do it. A lot of people are shy. A lot we
You
living
brought
in
me back
the
to
the Me
that
Too.
LL. You brought me back to that
Yeah,
LL around
man.
the way, girl.
Well, well,
that was
well.
that was
It
how
definitely.
LL, like, girls wanted guys that are gonna speak to them like that. That's gonna, talk to them and romance them and just give them that energy of wanting, you know what I mean? Of wanting to get to know them, to, understand them and saying that they understand them and what they're looking for. So that's important. I don't think that's talked about in today's dating world. You know what I mean? I think that people just kind
Well,
of
I mean,
act like
we have we have we have so much girl power, and right now we don't know to approach. Can I approach a woman? What could I say? Am I being offensive? Am I being? It's so much really going on that
Mhm.
it's like walking on eggshells. You want to approach a woman, or sometimes there's woman. If a woman wants something, she's gonna come see it. You walk in the door, and a woman knows what she wants. 5 minutes, and you want to talk, but you don't want to say too much. It's just a mixture of so much. So shooting my shot was just more or less like telling the guys as well. You see something with all this going on. At the end of the day, a woman still wants to be approached. You still have to have an
That's right.
approach. They still want to hear a line that they've never heard before. They still want to be, they want to be. You got to be able to make them smile. Have some substance with yourself. Just don't think
Right.
because you got a flashy watch on, or you pulled up and you got on the latest whatever. You see me, girl. You see what it is. Like you ain't got to say nothing. Like like 50 said, my watch talks for me and all of that. Sometimes you got to
Right.
talk for yourself. Woman got to, she has to know. You got to know when to talk and when to be quiet.
I mean, it's all about substance. You know what I mean? It's and a lot of people don't come with substance. I used to say, like, a lot of people are just shallow now. Like it's real shallow. Like people are less, you know, conversational. They have less to, they're either scared to tell you about themselves or they're hiding something about themselves. You know what I mean? And it's just like, listen, why can't we just be real? Why can't we just be honest? Why can't you just let a person decide, if they want to stay or they want to go? Like that's the real, life that I want to get back to. You know what I'm saying? At some point, as far as just people being honest about who they are, as people. It's important, like a lot of times you see a lot of people that are together for years and they still don't even know each other. They have no
Mm.
idea,
Well, with
what each
that,
other likes are or hobbies are, or and I'm just like, why are y'all together? A lot of people are together now because it's comfortable, because it's convenient. Um, and I just never understood that. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just, you're not happy, you're not satisfied. You know what I'm saying? If you're just with somebody because it's comfortable. Like, let's get back to the realism of, man and woman and why they're together and why they are forced together. I think is important. So shooting my shot definitely spoke volumes to what we want, our next generation to have, is that substance of conversation.
of conversation, of expressing yourself. Just a combination of those things. Definitely have substance. Definitely have to have no. It's all right to express yourself. You know, You don't want to be too hard. You want to be able to open up. And if a female can't accept that in you, maybe that's not the female for you. Some females is, you got females that run over guys. It's like you got guys that run over females. So it's about, getting with someone that you're attracted to. And some, like you said, sometimes people are in relationships and they don't know each other, but they're comfortable and they're making it through. It's different strokes for different folks. Some people have been hurt, and some people just want to be at peace, but they want companionship. It's hard to really explain, but some people are like that. Some people can't afford, they don't like to be alone. They don't like to be by themselves. So just having the comfort of somebody around them is enough for them. And then you have some people that, I got to be on a trip every 4 months and you come in with me. You better be saving your money and you better be doing this and you better, So there's different strokes, man. There's opposites sometimes attract, but I don't think there's just to say I don't think as long as it's not physical and you're not, downgrading anyone mentally, you're at ease. Some relationships, everybody doesn't have a perfect relationship, but what is that? And as long as you're comfortable, as long as you're free to do, as long as you're not holding up, you say, yo, I'm going out with the girls or yo, I'm going with the guys, and you trust and everybody's coming. Sometimes that's what it's about. Sometimes we make a big fuss out of things that we shouldn't,
Everybody wants to control somebody, and that's never been my thing. Like, you can only control you. Sometimes you can't even control your own self. You know what I'm saying? So how are you out here trying to control another man or another woman? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to stop getting to that narcissism of relationships. Like, listen, like, if a person wants to be with you, they're going to be with you. If they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat. Like, it's what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to deal with, what you're willing to, go through with these people is what's, ultimately the decision maker. Like, that's, I think that's important to know in a relationship, that it's your choice whether to stay or go. But I want to get into talking about you and like just how you started off. What got you influenced? When did you first get influenced by music?
Well, I got influenced by music real early, as far as, being a youngster. My mother always had all the albums and playing the records and things of that nature at an early age. So from, all the legends, whoever they be, Diana Ross, Diana Summers, your Michaels, your Princes, your Luther Vandrosses, your Marvin Gaye's, your Teddy Pendergrasses. So I used to listen to all of that. And I saw my uncle as well, rest in peace, my Uncle Will. He was very abstract in his music, so, and he played, he taught himself how to play the flute. He taught himself how to play the violin and things like that, the piano. So he used to listen to a lot of Bach and Beethoven and a lot of that, a lot of that classical music. But he used to also take me as a youngster. We would go to Manhattan or whatever, 42nd, 34th Street, 42nd Street. And I would be like, 7, 8, 9, stuff like that. And as he played the music in the train station and have the flute bouncing off the acoustics of the, of the tunnels and things of that nature, I'd stand there like the hungry child, and he played his music, and they would throw the money inside his little, how people have to carry their instrument. So they, they would throw the dollars in. Some people, we'd be in the park down there in the village and stuff like that. And people, some people would shove money in my pocket. So he would take me along with him to be like, I'm his hungry child and things of that nature. But I would rack up, by the time we went back home and stuff, I'd have like whatever, $17.35 in my pocket, from hanging out or whatever it was. Because when he would take me, he was like, yeah, come along, yo, we're gonna give him some money. I'm gonna split it in half. I'm gonna split the money, we're gonna divvy it up. And
Right.
but he never divvied it up. He was like, "Yo, whatever you got in your pocket, I seen him putting money in your pocket. That's what you made for the day." So I
That's
always
right.
knew that music. As a youngster, I kind of felt like music. People like music, and so it got me into it. So yeah, from that point, from chorus classes and things of that nature, and then hearing hip hop, gravitated towards it like just like anybody else. But I think I had an ear for the music earlier, with the help of my family. Just like the diverse, the diversity, having
Right.
having a nerd uncle listening to classical music. So I
Right.
used to always get on, I used to be like, what are you listening to? What are you this or that? But out of anybody in the family, from my mother to my aunts and all of that, I was the one that, had to endure the most, and I hung out with him. So yeah, he definitely got me musically inclined.
That's awesome. That's like so inspirational because, like I say to people, like, you don't know how many minds you're influencing that are following behind you or just listening to you or just inspired by what you've done. Your work, your body of work here on earth is important. You know what I mean? Whether or not you're successful ultimately, in the light, you still have a body of work that somebody could look at as inspiration. And your uncle was that, and you carried the torch and you made it your own. And you got you still pull your own inspirations from those times. I guarantee you, because those are the things that first
Well, they would,
inspired.
and they would also say, like, genetically wise, as far as music, that people that are, historians. My grandfather was in the harp tones. My grandfather was Dicey Galloway. So anybody that knows about the harp tones, classic, doo-wop, Hall of Fame, they were played in a Goodfellas music. I think that music is being played right now on a commercial. My mother told me, she was like, "Yeah, I think what's her name that just had the baby, and she named her son RZA." But I think on one of the commercials, I think that they're playing like the harp tones music. This is what my mother was telling me. So, like I said, from the harp tones, my grandfather was Dicey Galloway. So
Okay.
just genetically, yeah, you got to look into the harp tones and look
Yeah,
into
let me
their music. They are in the doo-wop Hall of Fame. Like I said, my grandfather was Dicey Galloway, one of the members from out of there. So, and they was from Uptown Harlem and things of that nature. So, yeah,
that's
it's in the genes. It's genetic.
that's awesome. So what would you say your creative process is like? What does it take for you to get into your zone?
Um,
Does it
just
just come
just
off?
yeah, it varies. There's times I could be in the mood. I might be under the gun and whatever. I might be writing on a topic. I could do that. There's times I just get in the zone. I might wake up, whatever, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 in the morning. And if I feel like, let me go into the room and turn on the beat, I could be writing until 6 in the morning.
Okay.
Um, so it varies. If I'm working on the project, I would like to do my work more late at night, anywhere from, when everything is quiet down. I like to do my work late at night is better for me. But I could write any time, but that's the process that I would prefer to use. Um, and like I said, I get in topic mode, or sometimes if I get a beat from a producer, I'll create the rhyme within the beat. When shout out to Phantom, shout out to SI's Finest who produced Shooting My Shot. But from the Foreman Mandela project, and Shooting My Shot is streaming everywhere. Anybody listening, Shooting My Shot streaming on all digital platforms. Um, Foreman Mandela is the project that I put out before my latest full body
Yeah.
of work. Produced by Phantom of the Beat. So, one day he gave me the beat, to the Zaddy Gotcha. He gave me the beat, and I took it And I said, I'm gonna do something different with this, or whatever the case may be. And so that's when Zaddy was more or less like the new little, hey Zaddy, Zaddy. So I'm just like, yo,
Right.
Zaddy got you. Hey Zaddy, I want to go here. Yo, Zaddy got you. Don't worry about it. Hey Zaddy, are we gonna go on this cruise? Zaddy got you. That's where more or less I got the hook from. It was in my mind, like, Zaddy got you. So I took the beat and I just, created the song from the beat, and I think it came out dope. It wasn't like I intentionally did it. I heard the beat, and I said, let me create something, for the ladies for this one that's gonna be kind of like, kind of
Yeah,
New
sure.
Yorkish,
That's right.
you know.
Def- Definitely felt that one. There's so many of your tracks that I feel like are just relative. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that you just have a gift to do. You know what I mean? Is make things that people can relate to, and you say things in a metaphoric way that people can understand. You know what I mean? Like that. That is what I get from your music and from what I've heard. So that is always, a blessing to see artists that still do that, that still have that, that gift. Because a lot of times this music today is not of substance. It's not of any value of takeaways of knowledge. And I think that's important that we speak to that, that about you is that you're a knowledge speaker. You're a person who challenges people to think outside of the normal, or what they've been taught. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important to, just shed light on you as an artist.
Well, yeah, definitely. It's about filling a void, I didn't really want to come out and do what everybody else is doing. I looked at the game and I said, let me do what I naturally do. And that's what really, pushed me anyway. I don't think I had to try hard to be positive or be influential. It's something that comes naturally. So I felt like that void needed to be filled. And I'm just glad that, like I said, the higher power gave me just the power and the endurance to stand the test of time, and still my voice be heard in today's time, still make sense, still be, absorbed by, educated people. Because sometimes, they get it. There's different generations, so they
Right.
might say, they might not, they're not receptive of intelligent rap anymore. They don't want to hear that no more. They don't want to do this, that, and the third. So me making a comeback and me making traditional hip hop, I'm just glad that, you know, I always tell people you got two types of rap. You got your microwavable rap, and then you got a full course meal. You got food for thought. So
That's right.
I've always considered myself food for thought. And sometimes when you're cooking a full course meal, it's not a microwave. I'm not a hot pocket rapper. You're not gonna throw me in for 2 minutes and it's done and ready to eat. You're gonna have to wait a while because you're gonna have to. I'm a slow simmer everything. It's gonna fall off the bone, and like I said, that's when like I said, Black on Black is from '96. And when you take your time to make a joint that's going to stand the test of time, you want songs that's going to be able to resonate. Unfortunately, it still resonates. We haven't stuck together yet, but still, being able to write it in '96 and it still makes sense today. This means that it stood the test of time. It just wasn't for that particular time. It was heartfelt. And I like to try to make my music heartfelt. I like to make my music diverse. I don't want to make the same song twice. I want to make a song that I want everybody to like my songs, but you might pick out your favorite. You know what? I like Daydreaming with the Force MDs the best. No, I like Zaddy Gotcha. Nah, that Stapleton Fly was hard. You crazy shooting my shots, my joint. Like, I want that.
That's right. And I can't pick. I don't, I love them all the same. Like, I feel like I got to go back and listen again and again. And I'm like, I can't pick which one he dropped the most in. Like, I'm like, it's so much information and so much just lyricism that I'm like, okay, this is this is way past our time right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is like you're speaking on levels that people are not even ready to comprehend. You know what I mean? So that for me
Well, I
is
would
like,
hope. Listen, I would hope they are, because when I came out with Black on Black Crime, a lot of my, a lot of people, yo, you was ahead of your time. So I'm thinking, I was locked up in hip hop jail for 20 years. I was frozen in time, and I think I defrosted myself like Han Solo, and I came with the same energy I was kicking in '96, hopefully thinking that I wouldn't be ahead of my time. So I don't want to hear you saying they're not ready. Nah, they're supposed to be ready right
they
now.
gotta
So when
be
I come
ready.
with the form, man, they
That's
gotta be
right.
ready. Y'all gotta pick it up now.
That's
Yeah.
right. I mean, but you got to ease it on them. You know what I mean? It's like it's definitely easing on them because they, they ain't comprehending. It's like the short attention span. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have the people out here that are searching for knowledge and who are searching for substance in music. And it's funny because I find there's some people that are in the younger generations that like they're going back and telling me like, "OT, you don't know about AZ." You don't know about. I'm like, whoa, wait. How you find out about them? Like, you wasn't even born then. Like, but this is
Right.
actually conscious, young, minded people, younger generational people who are now searching for more substance. So, like you said, it's coming back. It's alive, and just seeing the support, like coming from a management perspective and things like that, I would always say, oh, you got to find what's trending, what's hot right now, in order to, stay up with the times and things like that. And it was hard to get artists who wasn't ready to evolve or, come out of their element of what they were doing. They wanted to stay stuck in, the 90s era of music or in the early 2000s era of music. And I'm like, listen, we now 10 years ahead, and you have to start, at least trying to keep up with these people and that was where I had to learn that there's a different season for everybody. You know what I mean? There's a different demographic for everybody. And the 30 plus crowd, we're tired of hearing, the drum rap and the trap rap. Like
I mean,
I had to
listen,
change my,
you, you y'all
whole
want you want to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. When you see your counterparts and whether it be males and they're slipping away. It could be by accident. You out there in a party listening to it and it's getting too dangerous to where
That's
just
right.
going out and enjoying yourself. I mean, I feel sorry for the generation because I say when I think back and I say, yo, when we was throwing house parties or when we was throwing, there was no phones. We would actually be dancing and connecting
That's
with
right.
like we be dancing all night. The reggae
Right.
music was out. I mean,
Basement
I went
parties.
out to I went out to an all black affair in Manhattan a couple of years ago, and the girl was just she was just dancing with her phone and boom boom and TikTok and Snapchat in it or whatever. It was funny because I was determined. I was like, nah, she gonna dance with me. I got me like a double Long Island, and I got her to put the phone down for a little bit. You know what I mean? I got her to put the phone down for a little bit, but it was like,
It's a
they're
challenge.
more concerned with entertaining people that's not even there. Like, and you got people right in front of you. There's a disconnect going on. So, I mean, it's very,
So, Pop, tell me if you could collab with anybody, whether mainstream or underground, who would it be right now?
yeah, that's a good question. I mean,
Mhm.
it would, yeah,
I feel
somebody
like
who's hot.
they would have to come up to your level. Like they would,
No, and that's why I say, listen, really, and I want you to understand me. I'm from an era, like hypothetically, when hip hop really started, when you said Rakim was Rakim. Big Daddy was Big Daddy. LL was LL. KRS, and they never did songs with each other. It wasn't until like, the 90s where, rappers started, getting on with each other. So,
right.
as much as I would do a collaboration with, I don't want to, I would do a collaboration with a few individuals, but I don't think that anyone in particular really sticks out because I like doing music myself. Like I like putting songs out. I like creating. I like 3 verses. I like putting songs out the whole fact. I'm stingy with the mic. So, and I
That's
don't like
honest.
to have to depend. Yeah, I really am. So, doing songs with other people. I mean, there was once upon a time I was a part of a group. We was part of GP Woo, GP The Grain, and those are my brothers, and it was a beautiful thing. But
Tell me what
I was
GP
a
stands
solo.
for. This is on my notes
Well,
actually. You know
well,
I have notes over
yeah,
here, right? I got
well,
my whole
well,
notebook.
Yeah, GP stands for Gladiator Posse. It stemmed from out of Stapleton. Yeah, it came from out of Stapleton when we was young. We were the Gladiator Posse. It was like I'm from Stapleton. It was up the block, down the block. So
Okay.
Gladiators was really all over but it was created from up the block, and Wu Tang was down the block. So it was Gladiators and Wu Tang. They were both prevalent all over but not everybody was Gladiator, not everybody was Wu Tang. I was kind of like both. I hung up the block and down the block. And that's why, Shaheem, he was born into the movement of the Gladiators and the Wu Tang. So that's when he came out, he was just he's from Stapleton, so he automatically was GP and Wu. It was infused, it was in
Right.
his blood,
Right.
straight off the rip. So that's why he was embraced, by the clan and things of that nature. But yeah, GP stands for Gladiator Posse, and then we got on. We was signed. We was grain produced. We used it for several different things, but it came from the Gladiator Posse from out of Stapleton.
Wow. That's dope. Like because that was one of the questions that I had. I was like, wait, he has to tell me what GP stands for. Like,
And so
because I know
and so we were the Gladiators. We called, out of Stapleton, we was young. We called ourselves the Gladiators, the Gladiator Posse, because we were kind of like the last era that used their hands to fight before the crack era came in and they started pushing guns. So we was the Gladiators when we was young up. We were like, nah, we don't need no gun, but I'll gladiate you. What's up? We was, we would want to
right.
fight. But I said the crack era came and things of that nature. So it was like the last era of the fighter before, we were slap boxing and things of that nature. You don't see that anymore. Everybody runs to get their guns. So
That's
yeah,
right.
that's why we was the Gladiators.
So tell me, is there one message you want to give to your fans tonight?
Yeah, my one message that I give to my fans tonight is always believe in yourself. Never give up on yourself. Even when you're in your darkest moment, understand there's a light. You have to fight for that light. And so don't ever let nobody take your light away, and don't let anyone take your shine away. Definitely soul controller. Definitely be the soul controller, have knowledge of self, and stay the course.
That's right. Tell me, what's the best advice that you've been given in this business?
If something is too good to be true, it usually is.
That's a good one. I like that. So other than I'm gonna say this because I know shooting my shot is your single right now that you're debuting and that you're pushing right now. But is that your favorite song to perform?
I think it's going to be. I do enjoy doing it. Black on Black crime is probably the most comfortable because that's what I'm known for. I love getting back into the performance itself. Shooting My Shot probably is not the favorite, but I do enjoy it because it's kind of long.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot of energy to do. But favorite song to do. Just to give you a answer that's gonna sound great. I'm gonna say "Sun Never Chill." I'm gonna say "Sun Never Chill." So make sure you look that up on YouTube. "Sun Never Chill." Give that a listen to. But "Black on Black Crime" is my most comfortable song doing.
I love it. I love it. So tell me, what's next for you? What are you working on next?
Like I said, the clothing line is what I'm really going to put a focus on. I think I can be impactful. I'm always going to work on the music, but I do want to be able to, people to take the clothing seriously. I want to be able, where I started at and where I see it going. I think if I put a little more attention to it and help it get out its tadpole stage, it might be able to take some quantum leaps Might get some right investors and things of that nature. I also would want to do, a little series of my own. Besides, we got the Hulu series story going on, so I would
Yeah.
definitely like to have a different perspective, my point of view, dating back to the '80s and bringing you to the present time of Staten Island history. So it's a couple of
That's
things I
dope.
would like to be able to do, but focusing on the clothes and some more music maybe, for 2024.
So tell us, how do you get the merch? How do you get to purchase it through you?
Um
Mhm.
www.statenfly.station.shopify. So that's
Okay.
www.statenfly.shopify.com. That's how you get the merchandise. So yeah, I have a website and things, so it's on Shopify and it's Staten Fly. That's the name.
And as you guys can
And
see,
so I'm just building the web. I'm building a
go ahead.
website, so I'll be adding new stuff. I got a ton of the stuff, the zip code stuff I didn't put up there yet. I really just got that. I'm hitting the street. They in the frenzy. They loving it. So that'll be, I'll be adding more stuff. But right now I got hoodies, t-shirts, hats, some crop tops. I got some stuff up there right now that's ready to be purchased.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I definitely support you. I definitely got to get some merch. And definitely want to see you perform, in the next year or so. So definitely invite me. Let me know when you're performing. I'm definitely going to try to pull up. That'll be my first time going to Staten Island. So it definitely, would be a great opportunity just to see you in your element. Um, and anything I can do to support you, I'm here for you. Shout out to MJ Hip Hop Connections because she's the one who linked us. I tell people all the time,
Shout out MJ. Shout out MJ. One love.
I tell people all the time it's about the business. In regards to music sometimes that helps you get a little bit further and aligning yourself with the right people who have your best interests at heart.
Right.
That's important.
Right.
And I MJ is one of the people who, supports the culture, that supports, boom pap and, just artists that are out here, independently trying to make it. And just understand the importance of having, a PR, of having people who are vouching or who are speaking for you, and putting you in rooms with different people. That's important, to, shed light on those things. Cause I think that people don't realize there's so many different elements to this business other than the music. You know what I mean? It's the business side that has to come with it. And you being a brand and making, Staten Fly a brand, is important to what you're trying to do regionally. And,
Right.
just in a whole demographic, it's important. Up North City Girls, that speaks for the New England women. It speaks for the women up north. It speaks for, all the different, people that come from this region. And, I always wanted to be a part of something like that, a regional impact. So I salute you for that because it's not easy. I know we have Staten Stars out here shouting you out. Shout out to them. They've been tuning in all night. Is there anything
Shout out to Staten Stars. Much love. One love, Staten Stars. Bomber Fire. He's always tuned in, always showing love. Definitely.
and there's people like that
Mhm.
that keep us, pushing and keep us, believing that what we're doing is important and making an impact. And you are definitely making an impact and you are a king. And it's just, an honor to get to acknowledge you and have this time with you. So anything I can do to be a support for you, just let me know. I'm here.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate your support. Definitely wanted, definitely much blessings on all your endeavors. It's good to see, like you said, you up there in Boston or whatever the case may be. So it's good to see some strong Nubian queen out there holding it down, representing, sounding smart and intelligent. So keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you letting me come on your platform. I appreciate the fact that you knew about the Brown Hornet. It wasn't like you was guessing up there. You was knowing some real stuff, like you really tuned in and showed love. So
I had to.
Yeah,
but it was so much to get to know, and I look forward to getting to know more. Again, it's people like MJ that connect people, and you get to see, the different people that, have been in this game, and just, you gain a different level of respect for people, and you definitely earned that, from me. I say that because, people always say, oh, respect is given. Nah, it's not. It's earned. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to earn people's respect. And you've earned that.
Right.
For me. So that is important for me to say. Definitely.
Thank you. Much appreciated, sis.
Thank you.
So you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And I look forward to the next single.
Thank you. Keep your ears tuned in. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a hot one. Bumble fire!
You keep me in the right state of mind, quality time. When in the local words, your love and feed me a line. Never felt like this, never thought I could. When I melt between your legs, it feels so damn good. Your attitude is milly. When we play fight, you're mad silly. You make my nature rise by the way you lick a Philly. Who needs the ad master when they got you for me? With all the sex inside, you keep a brother in shape. You was a diamond in the rough, now you the one I count on in the clutch situation. You come running, no hesitation. It's like we got the same destination, laying up butt naked on permanent vacation. With my eyes closed, you's the one I chose. Through the bullshit, you keep the soft scent. You keep me in the right state of mind, quality time. When in the local words, your love and feed me a line. Never felt like this,